I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up?
There they go. 3-2 pitch. Fly ball deep left field. Hooking down the line. Hooking. There she goes. A grand slam. The Blue Jays have done it again. Steve Pearce with a 2-out grand slam to beat Oakland 8-4. Another walk-off home run after Morales did it last night. Home run number 9. His sweetest as a Blue Jay in 2000.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up?
As the Nationals are a strike away from franchise history and some World Series history. As Hudson tries to close it out. It'll be another 3-2 pitch to Michael Brantley. Hudson sets. The kick, and here it comes. Swing and a miss! Swing and a miss! Swing and a miss! And a World Series Game 7 winning Curly W is in the books. The celebration is on. The Washington Nationals are the world champions.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait.
Are you kidding me?
Do you believe it? Indeed, I do believe it. Good morning. Oh, yeah. Time for the Manic Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Cole Johnson will be along in just a little bit. James Harden opened his mouth again. We'll get into that. The Texans made some concessions over the course of the weekend. We'll get into that. And the whole mess, which is going to come down to what this man, and good morning to Fifth Down Sports. Fifth Down Sports has a new logo, which yours truly designed for them. Deed said it all along. We'll get into all of that. Drew Willingham in the house with us. Good morning to you, Drew. Thank you. And, of course, one of our mainstays, Sick Diggy, along with us for the ride. And thank you, Sick Diggy, for coming along with us as well. We have some work to do, and that work begins with the whip around. We start in Minnesota, where the Vikings' Justin Jefferson predicts he'll be the NFL's best wide receiver after this year. Justin, I love you dearly. I love the way that you play. But you have Kirk Cousins throwing to you. Anybody see the problem in that? Anybody see the problem with that? You have Kirk Cousins throwing to you. And the Vikings signed Kirk Cousins to an extension. Does anybody else feel like a fried egg? Does anybody else see the problem with this picture besides me? You have Kirk Cousins throwing to you, and you expect that to be the solution to all the problems with the Vikings offense. No. Not hardly, not ever, just plain no. Not going to happen. I'll say it again, Justin Jefferson. I love you dearly, but you needed to be on a team that actually had a quarterback, because Kirk Cousins is not the solution to the quarterback problem. I mean, the Vikings haven't had a good quarterback since Dante Culpepper, and before him, a fellow we like to call Randall Cunningham. And I'm sorry, I just don't see Kirk Cousins as the answer, so I don't see Justin Jefferson being the wide receiver of the year. He actually resides. The two candidates for that, one resides in Los Angeles, the other resides in San Francisco. End of story. All-star outfielder Juan Soto rejects a record $440 million offer from the Washington Nationals. The $440 million offer is to cover 15 seasons. Juan Soto said, quote, "I'm tired of losing." Close quote. If that's not the most damning statement I've heard come out of Washington in a very long time. So now everything's on the table for Juan Soto. Will he be a summer rental? Will he be traded to a team that actually wants to work out an extension with him, that sees his talent and wants to go one step further? I'm leaning towards summer rental. I am leaning towards summer rental because what team would give him 15 years? And for that matter, why would they give him 15 years? I mean, he's hella talented. Don't get it twisted. He's hella talented. He is very, very talented. But you just have to wonder if there is a certain team in the Big Apple that is not named the New York Mets that will make a play for him and solidify that lineup. And there's a reason I'm bringing them up. And I'll discuss that a little bit later on in the program. Let's move on. Seems like Commissioner Adam Silver of the NBA doesn't like trade requests. Well, Adam, you're just going to have to deal with it, because after the rim-rocking, boat-rocking trade request of one Kevin Durant, which is not going to be granted, by the way, they're scared. Adam Silver, I hate to inform you of this, but you, my friend, helped put the league in this situation. Why do I say that so proudly? Because you allowed one LeBron James to team jump again and again and again. And you, Adam Silver, said nothing about it. Absolutely nothing. I hate cussing at the top of the show. So I'll stop there and I will move on very slowly. A healthy James Harden vows to be back at the top of his game. Matter of fact, James Harden says, quote, I vow to return to the top of my game. Sorry about that. Looking at a few things. James, you're in Philadelphia. You're not in Houston. Let me say that again for all y'all in the cheap seats at the summit. You're in Philadelphia. You're not in Houston. The top of your game melted away when you left the Rockets. Matter of fact, the top of your game melted away when you left Oklahoma City. And you did not want to take a non-starring role. You didn't want to take the 6-man role, and you didn't want to accept the offer that Oklahoma City wanted to give you because they saw you for who you really were, a 6-man. But no, you wanted to be a star. I know, AL, I know it's the Toyota Center, but I'm old and I'm old school. So I still think of the Summit in Texas. You wanted to be the star of a team. You thought you could be the star of Oklahoma City when they already had Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. And to a point, Serge Ibaka. So you ran away to Houston. And after 8 years of not getting a championship there, especially losing 4 times in 5 seasons to the Golden State Warriors, you ran to Brooklyn. And when it didn't work out in Brooklyn, because of an injury that caught up to you, you flew to Philadelphia. First of all, James Harden, will you ever get it right? That's what I want to know. Will you ever have the cojones to admit that you got it wrong and that you need to get yourself in better shape and that you need to stop partying all night long? And not to mention, you had 2 of the best players that you could ever have as teammates down in Houston, CP3, Dwight Howard. You ran them both out of town before you ran out of town. You know, I often make cartoon references here, and AL, I'm old and I'm old school. But in a Popeye cartoon that I watched over the weekend, Bluto said after he set up Popeye yet again, and I say this to James Harden, hit the road, you bum. James Harden will never, ever, ever, ever return to prominence. Ever. That's our whip around this morning. While the opportunity presents itself, let's go through some comments as we get the day started. We'll start from the top. Sick Diggy joining us, along with Fit Down Sports, saying good morning, sports fans. Drew Willingham joining us this morning. Good morning, Drew. Happy to have you with us. He says good morning to Sick Diggy. Says manic indeed, Snowman in the morning. Dig it! Absolutely dig it. He greets Drew Willingham and Fit Down Sports. The Vikings need a second quarterback need to get a second quarterback, as he corrected himself. He did to fill the void. If Justin Jefferson makes Kirk Cousins look good, he will have to be the best wide receiver. Yeah, but again, you got Kirk Cousins throwing to him. There's your problem right there. It's not the quarterback, it's the coaching in Minnesota. Well, the coaching is a carousel, Drew, and you're very correct. You're very correct. It's the coaching as well as the quarterback, because apparently there's a coach that can't get Kirk Cousins right. AL Evans in the house with us. Salute to Snowman in the morning with Cole Johnson. AL, good morning to you. Sick Dicky asks, is it safe to say that Justin Jefferson might be feeling himself a bit too much after 2020? Yeah. Juan Soto going to the Mets? No, he's not. I'll put a stop to that right there. He salutes AL Evans, does Sick Diggy. Fit Down Sports is right city, wrong team. That's why I brought that up. I'll touch on that briefly after the break. Salute to Sick Diggy from AL Evans. Clearly, the Nationals, have short arms and deep pockets and short on brains. Short on brains. I got a feeling he's going to the Mets. I don't think so. I agree with Dietz. Right city, wrong team. Adam Silver doesn't have a set of manly parts on him. Boy, is that the truth. And Dietz follows that up with this point. Adam Silver is a fraud. He hates KD demanding a trade, but is perfectly fine with the Lakers shopping Russell Westbrook so the team can do it, but the players can't. Seems like Silver's a hypocrite. Big time. Joel Embiid just tweeted, "Fool, please." That is not what he truly said. We all know what he truly said. A.L. Evans talks Toyota Center, but I mentioned the Summit. He says he's old school also. Not to mention a bust-up with Dwight Howard. Yep. Nice Popeye reference. Yeah, I think the cartoon short is titled Tops Under the Big Top. I think that's the title of it. Now, Sig Diggy, you're tempting fate. I think Golden State should get a trade for Seth Curry from the Brooklyn mess. His career is going to suffer. Yeah, as long as he's in Brooklyn dealing with that mess. But what does Golden State give up for him? That is the question, because right now, Golden State is set to win the next 3 titles. And yes, I said 3, including the one they just won. They could do something only the Boston Celtics have done if they tweak their roster correctly. It's going to take some work, but I really feel that this is really going to be the second half of what Jalen Rose calls the Golden Empire. I really feel that. Snowman in the Morning this morning is brought to you by Monkey Knife Fight. What is that? It's a daily fantasy site offering prop games for different sports, especially with the All-Star game and Major League Baseball going on right now. You sign up right now, use the code Snowman, and you get a 100% deposit match on up to $100 on your initial deposit. Let's pause for a break, and when we come back, I'll talk more about where Juan Soto could go. I should have my partner here, and the Houston Texans debacle. This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, and I'm back in a flash.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up?
Malone will inbound. Fisher's in the game. Walton, O'Neal, and of course Bryant.
And everyone is paying attention to Kobe Bryant.
They start with Shaq. He gives it to Walton. Here comes Kobe. Less than 5 from way outside. Got it! Oh, man! With 2.1.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait.
Are you kidding me? Do you believe it?
The hottest of hot takes and the coldest of cold, hard facts. That's Snowman in the Morning, each and every morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. Hey everybody, Snowman here. You know, daily fantasy sports and daily fantasy sports websites are all the new craze. And if you want to get in on the fun and you're listening to this program, all you have to do is go to monkeyknifefight.com and use the code Snowman. Wait a minute, back up. What's Monkey Knife Fight, you ask? Well, Monkey Knife Fight is the latest in daily fantasy sites that will get you a chance to earn cash, and lots of it. And with Major League Baseball in full swing and football right around the corner, you want to be sure that you get signed up in a hurry and have your chance at a lot of cash, including a piece of $100,000 when you play a daily fantasy game featuring Major League Baseball. That's monkeyknifefight.com. Use the code Snowman and you will get a full match on up to $100 on your initial deposit. When you get all that set up, tell your friends and tell them Snowman sent you.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Whatever the heck. You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Dr. K, my dearest Dr. K. Official SIT Morn is the ID that you need. That is official SIT Morn. Let's stay on the Golden State Warriors for a moment as my partner is on his way in. Drew Willingham gave me a comment during the break. Let's say good morning to Donzo. Good morning, Donzo. Good to have you with us. And this is what Drew said. That's a stretch calling that with the Warriors. Yeah, I know it's a stretch. I know that. But it was a stretch to say that the Warriors dynasty was completely over. And a lot of people in lamestream media said that. Let me repeat my sentence. A lot of people in lamestream media said that. Why do I call it lamestream media? Because they have the same doggone narratives. That's a discussion for another time. But I said right after the Warriors won that this could not only be the first of two, but the first of three. And considering how young they are right now, even with the core that they have, who are all plus 30, this might be, and I know this is a stretch, Drew. I know that things have to fall into place. Things have to work out the right way. And you have these lamestream people that are saying, oh, every time the Warriors won, they didn't receive a challenge. That's baloney. Because every opponent they faced in the World Championship Series was a challenge, or they wouldn't have been in the World Championship Series. So for all of you that think the Warriors didn't have a challenge in getting to the finals, shut it up. Now that I got that off my chest, riddle me this. What deal have the Warriors made? Because they lost a ton of people in free agency. What deal have the Warriors made that will prevent them from getting to the championship? And Sam Shady joins us, and he gives us this endorsement: Snowman in the Morning and Shady Sports, bringing you independent and unique sports coverage daily. Damn straight. Independent and unique. Because you can't top what Sam's doing with Shady Sports Network. We have him every Friday. Drew Willingham joins the conversation. If they get KD, maybe. However, they will need to give up too much for him if that transpires. They won't need KD. They just proved they don't need KD. They just beat Boston's tail without him. And yes, I said tail instead of my usual word because I'm trying not to cuss. They won't need KD. Let KD roast in his own stew. Let him roast in his own stew, man. They would have to give up entirely too much to get him. Like Andrew Wiggins, like Moses Moody, like Jonathan Kuminga, and possibly even James Wiseman. No, thank you. They don't need any of that. They don't need to give up any assets that they have now to replace the ones that were there. GP2, Juan Toscano Anderson. They don't need to replace those minutes because it comes down to minutes with Golden State, with the way they spread the ball around, the way the ball hops around the perimeter, in the words of Bob Fitzgerald. And that's the television voice of the Golden State Warriors. The ball hops around the perimeter, and I mean it hops. So to get KD back in a Warriors uniform, it would not be a reprise of the role he served from 2017 to 2019. No. It would be a stagnant offense. And I hate saying that because I love watching KD play. I do. I love watching KD play. But it's too much for a reunion with Golden State. Now, if they didn't have to give up anything, then yeah. If they didn't have to give up anything, then that's cool. But there's too much for the Warriors to give up. And in case you haven't noticed, this is an impromptu Snowman's take. But I believe with the roster that they are putting together, and believe me, free agency is not over. The offseason is not over. There are still opportunities for the Warriors to sign a player or two or three that could get them back, not only back to the finals, but win the doggone thing. And now I welcome Cole Johnson to the fray. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Why don't these lamestream media people shut up about Golden State? This is totally impromptu, and this wasn't on the schedule, but after the bold prediction I made in segment 1 during the whip around, and it all concerned James Harden saying he'll get back to his top shelf self, and I'll let you have that in a couple of minutes. Why it happened? It didn't happen with the Lakers of the 80s. It kind of happened with the Celtics of the 80s. It did happen with the Bulls of the 90s. Let's just be real. Lakers of the 2000s, Spurs of the 2000s and 2010s. And now the hatred is oh so real for the Golden State Warriors. And I have asked you this question on many of an occasion. I've asked the people in the chat, weigh in with your thoughts. Tweet the show at official SIT Morn. My simple question to you, sir, why? Why? Just why is the hatred so real for a team that did the deed? I mean, you pointed this out, Sick Dickey and those in the chat, Drew Willingham included, have pointed this out. If you're the champs, you want to stay the champs.
Yeah.
Okay? To borrow from the legendary Ric Flair, to be the champs, you have to beat the champs. Ooh. I don't see anybody doing this. You know what? I called this right after the night after they won. You were with me. This could not only be the first of 2, but 3. And with the shrewd moves that Golden State has put together in the past and continue to put together now with how young their lineup is getting, even with the core, this is dangerous. There's that smile. That smile.
Excuse me, chat. I'm about to become politically incorrect for a second.
Go with it.
The reason why the hate is so huge, real, and big for the Warriors is simply because you have dark-skinned Negras who do not like light-skinned Negras.
Take it. You know what? Let me do this. I'm going to play EP for a couple of seconds because I have to do this. This is what Cole Johnson's about to do on this subject about the Warriors and the Warriors team itself. Because
it's time to go.
Now, as you often tell me, kind sir, cook.
Why, thank you, sir. Now, understand this was not on the slate for today, but I have plenty of material for this. Earlier this weekend, I discovered something really foul. And of course, you know where I discovered this foulness, right?
Uh-huh.
So, as I was perusing social media,
Oh, jeez.
I happened upon some fool, some troll, some idiot who seemed to feel the need to express the, how can I put this? The ineptitude of Stephen Curry shooting at one stretch in the 2022 season.
Oh, God.
Yes,
He,
yes.
he did not go there, did he?
Yes,
Oh,
he
God.
definitely went there. Yeah. In fact, he went so far as to crack a joke about it.
Really?
Yes, a lame joke, I may add. And the joke went, let's see if I can remember it. Quote, it looks like Stephen Curry's shooting percentage in terms of shots made versus shots attempted are looking like dates. Close quote.
Hold it. He did not go there.
Yes.
He went there. He went there.
Not only did he go there, he went all the way there.
Oh, there's more.
Yes, that's more. Yes.
Let's have it.
All right. So in dealing with this, how can I put this?
Fool.
I was going to say, how can I put this in polite terms? This abject idiot.
Okay, I can live with that.
In dealing with him,
Mm-hmm.
The logic seems to, well, let's be completely honest. Logic just escapes him all the way, all around. Because he's so adamant about how inferior Mr. Curry is versus number 6 of the Lakers.
Oh no!
Yes,
I told you I wasn't going to cuss this morning.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody opened the spigot, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Oh God!
Yes, they did.
Then I will apologize in advance to my wife, my children, and my grandchildren, because my children said, "Daddy, remember, you can't cuss on the air." And to think one of my daughters lives in Los Angeles right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes!
I feel
I feel for her. She's an ICU nurse. I feel for her. Let's hear what else does this school have to say?
Yeah, so I retorted by saying, okay, let's get this straight. And who hoisted the most recent trophy in the NBA? Just refresh my memory. Not what team, who? Because it doesn't matter what numbers you show any of us.
Mm-hmm.
The case is closed. The most recent finals MVP is the one you're clowning, saying that his shooting percentage midway through the season looked like it was a bunch of dates. And yet you still want to claim this guy is inferior. And so, of course.
And who scored 34 points in a clincher?
So, right. So this fool was thinking I was talking about the NBA championship, which, okay. And he did hoist that too. He responded to me by saying, well, that's a team achievement, bro. Curry. and I'm going to read this verbatim.
Oh no. Which means there's going to be errors all around. Go.
Yes. Quote. That's a team achievement, bro. Curry player bad all year, and it's a fact. Close quote.
Stop. Halt. D said, hold the phone.
As I said,
You see this? What color is this? What color is this?
Yellow. You throw the flag on the
flag on the field. Would you mind reading that again, please?
Oh, no problem. Quote, that's a team achievement, bro. Curry player bad all year, and it's a fact. Close quote.
My wife taught at Indiana State for 5 years. I was with her for 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
You want to? Because I already got the answer to my other question, which I will ask off the air, not on it.
Mm-hmm.
And you said it best, and folks in the chat said it best also. Ryan, thank you. Curry player bad all year, and that's a fact. I'm sorry. What?
Exactly.
If I had something red over here, I'd throw the challenge flag as well.
Oh my!
And I again, who scored 34 points in the clincher?
Yeah, the same guy.
On the road.
Yeah, and then the previous road playoff game, he scored 43. So,
to tie the series. To tie the series.
Oh, and this is the same guy who actually said to me that he actually said it in this very conversation. So along with that, he said, well, he went on with the fragmented sentences too. He says, quote, shoots 15 threes and only makes 3 or 4 LMAO with no period. Close quote.
Did he capitalize anything?
No caps. And I don't mean no cap. I mean no capital letters. And so I had to remind this fellow. I said, and who lifted high the most recent finals MVP? Since he said that the award that it was hoisted up most recently was a team achievement.
It went clearly over his head.
Yes, it did.
It went clearly over his head.
Yes. And then he proceeded to go here.
Oh, no.
Quote, the finals MVP should have been Wiggins, in my opinion. He actually puts a period here. He was literally doing everything and shutting down Tatum and Brown with no period. Close quote.
In the immortal words of the big hurt Frank Thomas, my brain hurts.
Yes. So I said to him, that's sad, man. That's sad. Curry scored 43 in one finals game and 34 in the clincher. Yet you want to find any excuse to discredit him. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And then I had to basically put the chair in the Sunday. I said, and to be clear, Curry in the 2022 season, the Curry player bad, as this fool said, averaged 26 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists in 2022. However, according to this man, this
fish-eyed fool.
That's a good way of putting it. Curry player bad all year, and it's a fact. Of course, I corrected him and said it's played, not player, but still. Curry player bad all year, and it's a fact. Yet this guy who player bad all year averaged 26, 5, and 6. How in the heck is that a bad year? Oh, and that's without a championship. Let's add the championship with it. and a Finals MVP to put the cherry on top of Sunday, and that's a bad year. That's a bad year.
Bitch, please.
You beat me to it.
This is the idiocy that I'm talking about here. And unlike my partner, I am not a Warriors fan. I am a Curry fan because I love the man that is Steph Curry. I always have actually, and love his father Dell. Always have loved Dell. I love how he attacks life, how he attacks basketball, how he attacks faith, of course, but how he goes about life. I love how he rolls about things, and because, and I'm just going to be completely blunt, because he doesn't have the highlights where he dunks, because he doesn't have the explosive athleticism. And you can say the same is true of Clay, although Clay's a little more explosive athletically than Steph is.
Mm-hmm.
To be completely objective, and believe me, non-Warriors fan, nobody can be more objective than me in this. Clay's a little more athletic gifted, even after coming off of the myriad of injuries that he suffered.
Yep.
Doesn't have quite the shooting touch that Curry does, but he's pretty doggone close. And the style does not agree with modern NBA fan because they prefer they prefer their players to be Rucker Parkish. You know, they run up and down. They want to have the ball handler embarrass the defender, break the ankles, have them penetrate past the defender, and then do a tomahawk dunk.
Oh, you
between
mean
the
like
legs.
in the Drew League?
I was trying not to even talk about that, but I'll talk about it briefly.
No, don't. I will, because we have a bronzexual in the chat.
Well,
and this bronzexual has become a very dear friend, so he knows I'm going to pick at him.
Well, I will say this briefly.
All I gotta say is this: he put that.
That's what I'm saying. I will say this briefly. So that took place between October and June.
No.
There we go. Now, as I was saying,
he put this up here. Okay. Rod Isaac will join me later.
Oh, I love that. I love
he's the biggest. He's one of the biggest bronzexuals I've run into. But you know something?
I love the 3-in-1 though.
A, he admits it.
Mm-hmm.
B, I love the brother because he talks sports with the best of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I will gladly host his show on my network. Gladly. Okay. Now, when you have a bronzexual who's also a Bradyite because he's a Patriots fan, and given the fact that he's a Patriots fan, I could somewhat live with that.
I'm trying,
but I think he knows. I think he knows later on today because he's at the bottom of hour 3. I'm going to pick at him mercilessly.
I'm trying not to go off the rails. I have something to say about Brady too, but that's not what I'm talking about. Oh, but the 3-in-1 thing, that's beautiful because that's the record Curry has against LeBron in the finals. Now, as I was saying, the style of play the Warriors have to the modern NBA fan sucks.
The ball moves.
The ball moves.
It passes. Okay, Bob Fitzgerald, and I referenced this earlier in the whip around. Bob Fitzgerald, Warriors television voice, says the ball is hopping around the perimeter. Let me say that again. And I better do this properly since I'm referencing one of my favorite television announcers. Quote: the ball is hopping around the perimeter.
Close quote.
Thank you.
Here's the key to that. Now, modern NBA fan can't stand it. They want to have, and look, we both are fans of Ja Morant. Yes. They want to have a whole league full of Ja Morants than a league full of Stephen Currys. However, when you talk about the finals opponent that the Warriors just overcame, the best style that they played
and
was
believe me, the Boston Celtics are going to be around for a long time.
Yeah, that team is going to be
a long.
That team's going to be tough to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
When they played their best, and I'm talking about even defensively, when they played their best, offensively, the ball moved around.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually said this on air back in April.
Yes,
I said the Celtics, it's not even about the defensive end because they have that straight. But what they need to do is to take care of the offensive end. Because if they take care of the offensive end, they won't be so in their heads all game long. And when that happens, the ball's popping offensively, defensively, they'll come up with the steals, they'll come up with the blocks, they'll come up with the hustle plays. And every time the ball moved around, they would score over 100 points and they would lock teams down on the defensive end. So that just goes to show you don't even have to talk about the Warriors. If a team decides to have the ball move and have it be an action-oriented offense where there's motion all around, that's successful basketball.
Which is where the Rockets messed up in getting rid of Kevin McHale.
Right. Don't have me go there. But
later this week we will.
But modern NBA fan, they want to have a guy who, for some reason, has the indomitable will to win games by himself, or at least have the ability and the talent to do so. And that is more enthralling to them than a guy who was unselfish yet can be the number one player on the team, who has the best shot that the NBA has ever seen, and has the deepest range that any NBA fan has ever seen, let alone player. And you have a guy who invites someone like Clay to cook, and invites someone like Wiggins to cook, and even invites someone like Draymond to cook in their own ways. Yet Curry still is unquestionably and undoubtedly the best player on the team, and all of them will tell you. All of them will tell you.
I told y'all this wasn't on the docket, but considering a prediction I made and Drew responded, I had to go there. I had to go there. Ryan McCarthy says, I think Curry player bash should be a meme for this show. From Cole, we have to get that done now. We have to get that done. 9 minutes before the top of the hour. Rod with us in the chat. If Katie didn't come to the debate, LeBron been 2-1 against the Warriors, and Draymond openly admitted they needed KD to beat the GOAT. Well, first of all, Michael Jordan.
I'm sorry.
Well, first of all,
I sneezed. I'm sorry. My bad.
Well, first of all, Michael Jordan didn't play. He's been long retired if you're talking about the GOAT. Second of all, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and his skyhook retired in 1989. And this is me picking at Rod.
Mm-hmm.
Third of all, Magic Johnson did something many fans expected LeBron to do, but didn't. And I believe that's win finals MVP. What are my final three words of that sentence? As a rookie.
Oh, and then to chair on the top of Sunday. Oh Lord, this needs to come again. 2015. Oh, good Lord, man. Ooh, man, these allergies. I'm so sorry. Oh, and
you mean those allergies?
Yes. Oh, and Mr. Deeds and Mr. Deeds Wednesday. All of that Wednesday.
Yes, we're saving the bulk of that from Wednesday. We have to. All right. Pause there. A break. And we got more stuff that pertains to what we're currently talking about and the Houston Texans. Oh shit!
Oh,
sorry.
Lord. I thought my day was bad enough.
I'm sorry.
Not gonna do
I
Texans
love
paying
when
out
we
30 hoes. Okay.
I love when we go off schedule. I love when we go off schedule. Hit the like button and subscribe on the way in. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a follow on Twitch. And also, if you have the mobile Roku device, download BS3 Network. That's where you can see us. The SDM Sports Network and Real Wise Radio is where you can hear us. And if you have the TuneIn app, you can hear us there as well. Back in a flash.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch TV.
Play Eric Amarola's Race Day Mix.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up?
And give those guys a little extra weight. Roger Craig, still on his feet, still running. What a run by Roger Craig. You'll never see a better one than that. From 46 yards.
He has that thing of getting those knees high and keeping the shoulders low. And he makes every team look like they're bad tacklers. Watch the way he gets that high knee action, keeps those feet going like two pistons. Then, at the same time that the knees are going high and keeping going, the shoulder can get low to take on a tackler.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait.
Are you kidding me? Do you believe it?
Roger Craig needs to be in the hall. Takes like that and more here live Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern. Watch us.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced House Hunter. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up?
Michael Jordan against Danny Ainge. Michael on the drive across the lane. Turnaround shot. Got it. 63 for Jordan. The game is tied at 131 with 110 left. A new NBA record has been set in the Boston Garden by an all-time great. I don't care if he's only played a year and change. He ranks right up there with the all-timers.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait.
Are you kidding me? Do you believe it?
Our number
two, Jim Durham.
Yes, thank you, Jim Durham. Our number two of
Michael Jordan.
Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, with Brian Snow and Cole Johnson. That, of course, was April 20th, 1986. The moment that the real king, and no, I'm not a Bulls fan, but I know greatness and recognize it when I see it, scored the most points an NBA player has ever done so in a singular game in NBA history. And 36 years later, that record still stands. That's right. To a certain group, Yo Kang hasn't come close.
And won't either. I mean, do we have to make it that obvious? Yes? Okay, good. A milestone happened actually it happened Friday. And I want to thank you fans for this. And this is an indication of us growing as a show on all of our networks.
Thank you, guys.
We cracked triple digits on the live view on Friday.
Thank you.
We cracked triple digits, and I couldn't be more thankful. We couldn't be more thankful to everyone that has supported this show, and that
you're part of it, Wise. Thank you, brother.
Wise, man. Let me take a few moments here. I would be remiss, and I put this on Facebook. I'm going to say it here. I would be remiss if I didn't have Cole Johnson and Will Otero taking the chair for me when I was under the knife, getting rid of cancer. Because I asked Cole, would you be so kind as to do that? And he didn't even blink. And he's like, I got you. He's like, I got you. And then while I was in ICU, I see Wise filling in. And Wise gave me the thumbs up. Now, did I do some shows from the hospital? Yes, I did. But were it not for you, Cole, and Wise, and especially to my daughter, Sonia, who leapt into action last year in June when I had blood clots in both my lungs.
Thank you.
I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Let's say hello to a new viewer, Triggerman, here via BGS recommendation. BGS, my homie, one of the old schoolers in the YouTube game. Thank you for that. Electrician 480, thank you. And if you all are feeling so kind, you know what? Give me the 100 days bump. I got some things to say. Yeah, I'm going there. Let's go.
Let's go there. All right, here we go. 100 Days of Carolina rolls on. And for more on the developments, here's my partner.
Decided to revive the mission and get back to its original name. But that does not come without a concession. We had planned to be there in 1 month's time when I first started this. Unfortunately, the concession I had to make is that I won't be doing any high school games there this year because of timing and because of my health, and I'm just not fully healed yet. But that does not stop the mission. You see the scroll at the bottom of your screen? That's how you can contribute. That's how you can contribute to all of what we're doing. Because, and I've talked about this before, and to Triggerman, Electrician 480, I've spoken about this on you guys' live stream before. A Pizzle, I told you, Rod Uncensored, and to everybody in the chat. When you're told that you're classified as disabled, and yet because you haven't, quote, paid enough taxes over the years, you can't get any disability benefits, and yet I know people, and this is nothing against them, that hadn't paid a doggone thing with their taxes, and yet they're getting disability benefits in different states. I have a problem with that. And considering the fact that this is my birthday week, I'm going all the way there. So I said, all right, you want to hit me that way? I'm going to fight back. I'm not going to. Did I cry about it? Yes, I did. Did I get mad about it? Yes, I did. Did I cuss? Yes, I did. But now it's time to fight back. I'm going to place a call after I'm off the air today to some folks down in Greensboro. And we're going to get this process started. And I see a great friend of mine in the chat, and I'm going to invite him up here for a little bit. But thank you guys so much. Our goal, $60,000 to get us not just back to Carolina, but back home. So we all, my wife, my daughters, my son, when he comes down, can have some peace of mind. And that's the biggest thing I'm looking for right now, is some peace of mind for my family. The recovery is going to continue. Every part of me is going to get stronger and better and everything. But we need your help. You can donate via PayPal, become a member via Patreon. You can donate via GoFundMe. You can donate via Cash App. The tag you need is $ Tallman Dr. K50. And you can also donate via Venmo. And that ID is Big Snowman 2172. That's 100 days to Carolina. Now, let me say good morning to a very, very dear friend. This is the gentleman who I had a 3-hour conversation with, along with another dear friend of mine, Matt Granahan. And I can't say enough about this man for everything that he's gone through with his injury and him. This is the guy that's in charge of Black Lion Security Firm. That's the sponsor you see across the top of your screen. Dr. Faulkner, I know I have a contract to get to you, but for you just to agree to be a sponsor of this show and to be the first major monthly sponsor of this show, thank you seems like a horrible understatement. I mean, I just presented it to him and he said, I got you. We'll get it together. And I invite anyone that has a business of any kind, want to sponsor this program, drop an email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. But Charles, my brother, I love you and thank you. Thank you, thank you, and thank you. A Pizzle in the house with us. What's going on, everybody? Good morning, he says. Good morning to you. And again, we welcome one of our newest visitors, Triggerman, here via BGS recommendation. Well, Triggerman, hope you are enjoying the show and that you will stop by often. Thank you for allowing me that, Cole. Thank you.
No problem.
And again, thank you to you for taking over the EP duties. Y'all, you know how this is. And for anyone, Deets, Rod, anybody, y'all know how tough it is to be a one-man gang when you're doing a show or a podcast or anything. And for Cole to agree not only to take the chair while I was out, but to become my executive producer, I can't say thank you enough.
Yeah, no problem.
I can't say thank you enough. Let's do a reset with a break. And when we come back, we still got some sports to talk about.
Yes, we do.
Plenty of them. Ryan McCarthy will join me Wednesday. Ryan McCarthy will join us.
There we go.
On Wednesday. And we got to get a picture of that with that name. So take us to break. Speaking of coffee.
All right.
I'll be right back, and we'll be right back. This is Snowman in the Morning. Hour 2 continues in a flash.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch TV.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
LeBron James is trash as a basketball player.
Wow.
I will say that one more time.
You said it so easily.
I've been saying it for 20 years.
It just came fluidly out of your mouth, like it just flowed like waters of the of a fall, just dropping off a cliff.
Oh, you mean this sentence right here?
Quote.
LeBron James as a basketball player is pure, unadulterated trash and has been for 20 years.
Close quote. You want more hot takes like that? Join us live every weekday.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Well, Dr. K, it is official SIT Morn. That's official SIT Morn on the Instagram, the Twitter, the TikTok, and the Twitch.
And we'll be doing baseball trivia all this week because the All-Star game is Tuesday night at Chavez Ravine in Los Angeles. I got to mess with Rod here. Snowman, you're going to put respect on the King's name. I did. His last name's Jordan. Damn it. His other last name is Abdul-Jabbar and Russell, and not Westbrook either. Okay? I did that already. Oh, man. Wise in the chat with us. Cole is an amazing EP. His show Revelations. Oh, my God. Is it ever a game changer?
Thank you, brother.
It is every bit of a game changer. Ryan had a funny, yep, there we go. Ryan McCoffey. Put some respect on my pseudonym. Not a problem, my brother. Not a problem.
You have no complaints over here, man.
None. Absolutely none.
Ryan McCoffey gets all the respect.
Ryan McCoffey. All the respect on that name. And on a serious standpoint, all the respect to everyone that joins us each and every day in the chat, no matter what we're talking about, no matter what we are discussing. Y'all bring it, y'all come with it, and we love you for that. Speaking of the All-Star game.
Yes, sir.
What the hell is Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols doing on the roster?
Okay.
This is on the schedule. We just went totally off the schedule to close hour one. But what? What is that?
Let me see if I can explain it in a way that would make sense. Although we both can say
it don't make
no,
sense.
it really doesn't. But this seems to be to me like a lifetime achievement award.
And I'm a fan of both.
I'm a fan of both of them too. It seems like a lifetime achievement award. Saying that okay, we know that basically you two, definitely Albert, your days are just about numbered. You're basically retiring after this year.
Yeah.
And Miguel, you're gonna be retiring probably soon thereafter. All right, let's give you all a curtain call here. So this will be your final big stage
So
at the
they're
All-Star
getting
game. Here you go.
They're getting the Jeter treatment.
Yeah.
Number 2, this is for you, Wise. Derek Jeter. And you know something?
Number 2.
I take back where I was going. I can dig that.
Mm-hmm.
I can dig that because for many years it was all about Miguel Cabrera in the American League and Albert Pujols in the National League before
many years. Mm-hmm.
many years. So I can understand why they want to give those two a walk off.
So
I can dig it. And they're doing it in the shadow of Los Angeles.
Right.
They're doing the shadow of Los Angeles. I can dig that.
So also understand that this is a new initiative. This is probably what you might not like. This is a new initiative and a clause in the latest collective bargaining agreement between Major League Baseball and the labor union. Because this is something that the current commissioner, Rob Manfred, would term an all-star legend selection.
Yeah, but the thing is, who's going to be the selections next year? I don't see.
Yeah.
Did I climb in your head again?
Yes.
Did I climb in your head? Listen, this year with those two selections, dig it. What have they meant to the game? Every damn thing.
Oh yeah, both of them. Not even a question.
Every damn thing. You definitely give those two a walk off.
Yeah.
You give them the spot. You give them the spotlight.
It's not even a question. Here's how big these two are. So you have Mickey, 505 homers, 605 doubles, 3,066 hits. You have Albert, 685 homers, 678 doubles, and 3,330 hits. Now, while I'm mentioning these stats, they are two of only 3 in Major League Baseball history that have eclipsed 500 homers, 600 doubles, and 3,000 hits. The other would be Hall of Famer Henry Aaron. 755 homers, 624 doubles, and 3,771 total hits.
Well, Dietz just gave us a point. It's not an every year thing. It's an exception the MLB office can apply to any player they deem worthy. Okay. That's what I'm looking for.
I can deal with that.
That's what I'm looking for.
That I can deal with.
That's what I'm looking for. Sick Diggy drops a pizzle of salute. I salute everyone. We salute everyone that's in here. Andrew in the house with us. Man, the numbers are climbing today, and I love it. Speaking of Yankees win, I want to pay a tribute of my own to one John Sterling, since we're talking Major League Baseball All-Star game. If there's a fellow who deserves on a national level to call on the radio an All-Star game, because Vin Scully's already broken the ice. Jack Buck cracked the iceberg even further. And when you put those two in the same booth, all you do is sit back and listen and get your popcorn and your drinks ready. This fellow deserves a shot too. Let's go back to 2002 at the old Yankee Stadium. The opponent, unfortunately, the Minnesota Twins. this happened.
4 for 11 lifetime against Trombley. The Yankees are a base hit from getting very close to tying this game. A little old single. The pitch swung on and hit in the air to deep right center. It is high. It is far. It is gone. It's a grand slam. Jason Giambi hits the bottom of the 14th. 1 out. Walk off. Grand slam. And one of the best games you'll ever see. The Yankees rise from the dead in the bottom of the 14th and win the game 13-12. The Giambino, his proudest moment as a Yankee.
Sing!
Rob him at home plate in one of the wildest finishes you'll ever see.
Sing it!
Bring it home, Sterling.
Ball game over. Yankees win. Yankees win.
One of the most iconic sign-off phrases ever. And I'm not a Yankee fan.
I'm not either.
I'm not a Yankee fan, but I sure as hell am a radio rat. As you all know, I'm a radio rat. I've used John Sterling's home run call. I've used Jerry Howard from the Blue Jays. Walk-off home run call. Howie Rose, I've used his. John Rooney, who was 18 years with the White Sox, I've used his. But now that we're at the All-Star break, let's bring it back current here.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the most dangerous team in the American League? I'll touch the National League tomorrow, since tomorrow my buddy Jason Elliott from Arizona will join me to talk Major League Baseball. And I want to say thank you to all who have volunteered to be a part of the Major League Baseball conversation in terms of our insiders.
Most dangerous, huh?
Mm-hmm. I have an answer, and it's very close to me. And unfortunately, it's not Seattle. Although Dave Sims, a very dear friend of ours, would say different because he gets to watch them every night.
Yeah.
So I'll put it this way. Seattle is one.
Yeah, Seattle. Yeah, Seattle
is one. They've won 14 in a row going into break. Only team in Major League history to do that.
Yeah, they're a team you
Y'all
can't
gonna
ignore.
think I'm crazy. Y'all gonna think I'm crazy when I say this. But the other's the White Sox. Why? Do you know how many injuries, foolish moves, and
Not foolish
everything? Hey, call a spade a spade.
Oh, I'm with you.
Tony La Russa has done some stupid things this year.
But you know me. How many times have I clowned James Harden as a Rocket? So I'll call a spade a spade.
I know you do, and everyone in the chat does also. Got to keep paying tribute to them. I know Ryan McCoffey's going to do the same thing when I have him on Wednesday. But foolish moves, Tony La Russa, and yet they're at 500.
Drew
just
drew on time. The White Sox?
Yes. I will tell
love
you,
Drew.
the
Keep
biggest.
it coming, Drew.
Look, I love you, Drew. What in the fuck? He won't even let me explain without making me laugh. Hey, Drew, at least I didn't say the Scrubs or Cubs.
Oh.
Because the Cubs are done. I'll talk about them tomorrow, and it will give me nothing but pleasure to roast them tomorrow. Here's why I feel. Now, can all this change right after the break? Of course it can.
So the White Sox are
It's Major League Baseball. It's Major League Baseball. You got the Yankees. You got as it stands right now. You have the Yankees. You have the Astros, and you got everyone else, Seattle included. Even though Seattle's won 14 in a row,
which Andrew did say, and I agree. I think it's pretty.
I totally agree. I totally agree. But the White Sox are getting healthy.
Well, here's something.
Go ahead.
Here's something that will probably boost your claim. So they've had these injuries, and La Russa, as Y said, has been doing some old man-ish. He's been doing a lot of old man stuff this year.
I'm a South Sider, and I'm calling that out. Okay.
But for them to only be 3 games out of first in the AL Central with all of what's taking place, They have a shot. They have a shot of repeating as AL Central champs if they can
not only that,
put it together.
3 out of 4 in Minnesota, who's currently leading that division. And not only did they take 3 out of 4 in Minnesota, kids, grandkids, forgive me, they whipped their ass. 2 of those 3 games, 2 of the 3 games that the White Sox won, they scored double digits against the Minnesota Twins.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know, let me borrow from Mike Valenti, it's the AL Comedy Central, but damn it, a division title is on the line.
Nice. The AL Comedy Central.
Well, think about it. Think about it. It's the AL Comedy Central. The Twins, Drew, you stupid.
The Twins were smoking vitamins that series.
That ain't all they were smoking. Besides, it's Minnesota.
Wait. Wise. It's the AL Central. Please.
I know.
I'm
trying to queue up another. But
some divisional champ has to be. Look,
somebody's got to win that division.
Yeah, someone has to win the division, and some AL Central team has to basically be fodder for the Yankees or Astros.
Yes,
in the ALDS.
Yes.
So
last year we were fodder for the Astros, and they kicked our ass.
Yeah,
as they should have.
Yeah, the Astros are a better team, but in saying that, the White Sox showed a lot of promise, and now they have to build off of that. And I think what they've had to deal with other than injuries and some horrible managerial decisions.
Horrible. Absolutely horrible.
You actually had a division gunning for them this year. So they've had these expectations of being the lead dog, and when you're the hunted,
yep,
it's a different perspective of being the hunted than rather being the hunter, because you can sneak up on people as the hunter. As the hunted, you're red marked. Okay, this is the series we must beat. We must win at least 2 out of 3.
And remember, the Cleveland Indians kicked our tail the first 7 times we played them, home or road.
Yeah,
the first 7 times we played them, the Indians beat us. And they're right there. Yes, Chris, that is true.
Yeah.
But they're getting healthy at the right time.
Now, the reason why I don't like Seattle Wise is I think they have too tough and a hard road to hoe. I know they won't overtake the Stros for the AL West. Battling for the wild card is their only shot, and they might get there, but I mean, it took a 14-game winning streak just to be able to contend.
And they still trail by 13 games. They still trail by 13. You want to know something? I said the White Sox are 2 of the most dangerous teams. Make it 3, the Astros. Because how can you not?
Yeah.
I mean, the Yankees have the best record in the American League, period.
Yeah.
The Boston Red Sox don't have Chris Sale, period.
Yeah. Speaking of a major blow, cue that sentence right there. Exactly.
They Twins are allergic to postseason wins, even if they make it. That's why they're not going to. Thank you, Andrew.
They may not. Yeah, but they might be allergic to September wins the way they're going.
Because you don't allow a team that's below 500 and can't score any runs, don't have any pitching, have only half their squad with 10 members, 10 on the injured list, to beat you down in your own ballpark.
Yeah.
With 2 of those 3 wins by the White Sox, as I said, they scored double-digit runs. Now, will the White Sox be able to keep this up? Don't know. The thing I highlight with the White Sox, they're getting healthy. They're getting healthy. And if there's ever a time you need to get healthy, it's right at the All-Star break. I believe the only player they're going to miss is Tim Anderson, who is starting at shortstop in the American League, for the American League.
Right.
Drew, why are you acting silly? The best vitamin harvest in September.
Is the Minnesotan.
Oh, man. Now you wonder why we have so much fun doing this. Oh, mercy.
I'm sorry.
There's more.
Yeah. News flash, brother. We're black and we're talking baseball. That's a crime.
Says who? Says who?
We're black. We're talking baseball. That's a crime. We can't.
Repeating.
We should be ashamed.
Question. Says who?
Is it? We should be ashamed. We should be ashamed if we're doing this.
I'm not.
But you know what, haters? This is what we think about that. I thought you'd love that setup.
Nolan Ryan, Steve Carlton, Roger Clemens, 3 of my favorite pitchers of all time.
Oh, you speaking my language with those 3.
Okay. And Steve Carlton made me fall in love with lefties with that fluid motion. When he lost velocity on his fastball, he developed that changeup. The master of the changeup is Mark Burley.
Right.
Because Mark Burley could pinpoint that changeup of his any and everywhere, and you look and go, wait, he did that?
Mr. Carlton, that guy is the master of the curveball that fell off the table.
Starts at 12, ends at 6.
Ooh.
Especially when he was with the Phillies?
Yes.
Man, please.
Man, he's still to this day my favorite lefty I've ever seen.
The only other lefty that had a curveball like that also was a Philly. That's Tug McGraw.
Oh, his was filthy.
And that was in a relief role.
Yeah.
But in terms of starters, Steve Carlton. Easy.
Not even a question.
Steve Carlton put some filth on that curveball. And if you want to talk about a fellow who lost his velocity on his fastball but put it in other pitches, thank you, Chris Dietz, for this. The one, the only, Greg Maddux.
Brother.
Greg Maddux.
The best game I ever watched in terms of actually attending a game, it was when the Braves played the Astros. It was 1-0 game. The Astros won. That I don't even care about the final score.
Mm-hmm.
Time of the game, 1 hour, 51 minutes. That man did not mess around when he was on the mound.
You know, I've seen Maddux pitch most of his games under 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And the same with Mark Burley.
Yeah. And Maddux, he didn't lose the game.
Nope.
They pulled him out after 8 scoreless innings. And he was masterful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my gosh. He was masterful.
See, this is why I laugh at the Cubs. Because they gave him up not once, but twice.
That right there makes them laughable. That's a franchise right there.
They gave him up twice.
Why you want to give up that type of arm?
Why you want to give up Greg Maddux? And you know why they gave him up after 1989? Because of a bad series against the San Francisco Giants. Well, when you're facing a fellow like Will the Thrill Clark, and Kevin Mitchell, who could hit any doggone thing,
right?
Except Dave Stewart's filthy forkball. There's a picture for you, Dave Stewart. Dave Stewart.
Yeah. When he came up in 81, I was, I said to myself, if he's going to be anything like I think he's going to be, man, he's going to make us. He's going to make a staff really good.
Oh, he did it 3 times.
Yeah, and it didn't pan out all the way with the Dodgers, but it most certainly did with the A's
and with the Blue Jays.
And then the early 90s with the Blue Jays.
And then with the Blue Jays, when I don't know if he's in the chat with us now, but The Blue Jays had a fellow, and thank you, Chris Berman, for this nickname, Juan Canadian Guzman.
Haven't heard that in a minute.
I think it was Sick Diggy who reminded me of that name. Juan Canadian Guzman.
Oh my.
Who had half a jerry curl out of the back of his hat. You could see the juices flowing up his hat, not down, up. And yet Juan Guzman had one of the filthiest breaking balls coming from a right-hander.
Yeah.
That you would ever see, because when they played the White Sox in the ALCS in 1993, I hated Juan Guzman, because if you didn't hit him early,
it was a long night.
Didn't hit him early,
it was a long night for the lineup.
You did
long night for the batting order. Yeah.
Yep, and he beat us twice when we had a chance to jump him early and didn't do it.
Yeah.
And didn't do it. You know.
Yeah. Now that's a pitching staff that is rarely talked about. That 92 and 93 Blue Jays.
And they had
rarely talked about.
They had dual closers. Dwayne Ward and Tom Hankey.
Yep.
And if you didn't hit them early in the 8th or 9th inning, forget it.
Yeah,
One of my other favorite closers. You'll recognize this name, Dennis Eckersley. And he still has nightmares of Kirk Gibson from 1988.
That's unfortunate.
That's unfair.
Yeah, that is unfair, because
that's unfair because Eckersley, of course, we're talking 88 World Series Game 1. I mean, 2 nasty sliders to take care of the first 2 batters of the inning.
Yep.
Somehow you allow a walk
to,
I want to say, John Shelby. I think it was John Shelby. And then Vin Scully set it up perfectly when he said, talk about trying to catch lightning in a bottle. You're like, how is Kirk Gibson going to swing a bat?
Yeah.
How?
And then you hear accounts saying that, we heard him take cuts in the locker room.
And he was hurting.
And you can hear him grunt, like, at every swing. I'm like, oh, Lord. It literally set up the natural moment.
And that was his only at bat of that World Series.
Yeah, that's only bat of the World Series of that one. Yeah,
only at bat of that. I think it was Oral Hershiser who won the series MVP that year.
Yeah, it was. It was him.
Yeah,
it was him.
And I love that for that at bat alone. Switching to football, and we go to the Monkey Knife Fight Hotline, and one of our favorite moments of the week, Jay Spivey now joins us. Jay, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine, man. Doing fine. How are you?
Doing great.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Before we roll, I don't have to do it now, but there will be some footage that I want you all to see before Jay leaves.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm highly anticipating this.
Yes. You both will get a huge laugh out of it, but go ahead. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt the other proceedings.
Jay said it best months ago. When there's smoke, there's fire.
He never lied.
Chris Dietz repeated that statement and made a correct prediction. And I come to Jay with this question. Why are they only entertaining six games for Deshaun Watson?
If he only gets 6 games, I know we got to go through the whole process here.
Yes.
I understand that. Everybody's entitled to that. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But as you just said, there is a lot of smoke to this.
And it's still coming.
You can't tell
so
me.
Much smoke, you're coughing.
You can't tell me that 60 women are lying. Or more than 60 women are lying. And like you said, there's probably more. And why are the Texans not being held accountable? Because it seems like they're just as part of this as Deshaun Watson.
Yes. And then they make themselves even more culpable by settling with 30 of them.
Totally. And then the Browns come with all this information, and they give him the highest offer ever.
Mm-hmm.
And then the owners get on there and say, "We've done our due diligence. We didn't see anything wrong." Really?
No, they didn't do their due diligence.
How did they do
Tell
their
me,
due diligence?
Tell me how they did their due diligence with
and
this.
did not see this forecoming, but they did their due diligence. How is that
There's
possible?
just no way.
Right.
There's no way they did their quote unquote due diligence.
That's hilarious.
There's no way they did that. None. And none. And Jay, love what you said. When there's smoke, there's fire. And there's plenty of fire about to come down.
I mean,
and it's gonna be a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
If he only gets 6 games, it's an absolute. I mean, no, for lack of a better term, it's an absolute crime if he only gets 6 games.
It's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
What does that say if that happens and he only gets 6 games? What does that say about all the women, not just your fans of the NFL, but just women in general?
Well, it's a question that Chris Dietz put out there, and I will repeat it. Which way do you go? Do you go racist or do you go misogynist?
And the problem that I see with that is you have the NFLPA, the weakest labor union in all of professional sports.
Yes,
by far.
Trying to put pressure on the Shield and saying, well, those penalties you gave Ray Rice before you really laid the hammer on him, and the penalty you gave Ben Roethlisberger after he settled with the women that it came out that he actually did rape, but that's allegedly. You gave them slight sentences. You should do the same thing for Deshaun. So they have that from that end, and then you have from the boss's end with Goodell, Jimmy Haslam put the squeeze on and say, look, I committed $230 million to this guy. I can't have him miss time on the field. You have so many different interests that are coming from so many different routes. It's not even funny. And that is not even to introduce, and that's before you introduce, okay, if the sentence is too light, then that means we're throwing the middle finger to the women. If the sentence is too heavy, that means we're throwing the middle finger to blacks. It's a powder keg no matter where you look at it.
It's a Pandora's box that is partially open right now.
And I understand there's rules and regulations like you said, to the players' union. I understand there's plenty of legal issues. But in my mind, he should not even be allowed on the field. Forget the practice field, because I know camps get ready to start here in a couple of weeks.
Right.
He shouldn't even be allowed on the field until this process is played out.
Thank you.
And yet he's still taking the majority of the first team snaps.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
You said it best, Jay. Exactly. He should not even take the field until this is legally settled. And it won't be until this time next year, if he's lucky.
And I understand this is way down the list of issues here, but I think I told you this several times, Brian. He has not played in basically a year and a half.
Right.
So where in the world is this going to come from?
Yeah.
All this, you don't just pick it up right off the bat and become a great player.
And the NFLPA wants to have that be time served.
Yeah.
They want to have that
ridiculous.
year that he didn't
They want
play
last year to be time served.
No,
to be
that's
time
ridiculous.
served.
Yeah, because he did that on his own volition. So that should not be time served, in my
The
opinion.
NFLPA should be ashamed of itself if that's how they feel.
And they're fighting for that.
It's like Cole said, weak sauce. Weak sauce.
It's hugely weak.
If this plays out like that, he only gets 6 games or whatever the sentence is, whatever the punishment is. You're going to have millions upon millions of women turn against you. And it's going to become a major issue the entire season and for seasons to come. And I don't blame them one bit.
Me neither.
Why?
Me neither.
Why?
Me neither. I really do want them to basically say to the NFLPA, okay, and basically do this. Just have a window dressing dance with them and say, okay, we'll say it publicly, we'll suspend it for 2 years. Put out a faux protest saying that we want this to be adjudicated down. And so we'll say, okay, we'll just simply go down to 1 year and accept that he's going to be off the field for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe if they went that route, everything will be fine, in my opinion.
Well, not that anybody's above the law.
Well, here's what Deep said in the chat. They open camp July 27th. This will be settled before then. The verdict is already in.
Yeah, that's a week and a half from now. That's a week and a half from now.
They're just trying to find a way to spin it. And I agree. They're trying to find a way to spin the thing.
I don't know that this will be. I don't know that the sentence will come down between now and a week and a half.
Yeah, yeah, because there's still 4 women who have actually filed still that he hasn't settled with, and there's 2 more that want to sue him. So it's just speaking of Pandora's box. I mean, it seems like this story has no end at all. No end in sight.
None.
Well, I know
it's not going to end for about 3 years.
Well,
because
maybe more than that.
Maybe more than that. There's a dark cloud that's going to hang over not only the Browns organization but the league with all this going on. And we go back to a point that we talked about earlier. They did their due diligence. Where? How?
Yeah. And you said it best, Jay. Also, the Texans will simply run off scot-free, and nobody is saying anything about their role in this mess.
It's what Deet said. It's what Chris Deet said, and we have repeated. You know, the Texans should get double the suspension of whatever Deshaun Watson gets, and yet I was one of the first to say on this very program, and Jay was with me, they're going to walk off with nothing happening to them.
Yeah, slap on the wrist, if that.
Well, none of us are above the law unless you're the dangerous orange man from the previous administration.
True. And that's been proven several hundred times before, during, and after his administration.
Why is one player in the NFL who's done basically nothing in his career above the law here?
Because it's the Cleveland Browns and because the Houston Texans started all this mess. And they laid in the shadows, which brings a point that Cole and I were going to talk about, and we're glad to have Jay Spivey with us on the Monkey Knife Fight Hotline. The Texans settled lawsuits. That came down over the weekend. 30 of them.
And like most settlements are, it's not really an admittance of guilt. But like you said earlier, when there's smoke, there's fire. Mm-hmm. And when you settle that easily, there's something to it.
And when you settle that many, there's
a lot to it. Yes.
When you settle that many that easily, man, is there a lot to that? A lot.
I just and look, I'm saying this as a Texans fan. It is a shame and a crime, literally, that you have this team enable, to me, the best draft pick they ever had in the history of that organization. Send him down to this path, and then the moment that draft pick says, well, you're not doing right by me, I need the jet, then the Texans want to say, well, yeah, that stuff that we're doing, well, we're going to basically say, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. We're going to absolve ourselves from all.
How many times have we seen that before?
Sad. It is sad that it's come to that. And you had that feeling that when Deshaun was traded to Cleveland, the Texans were like, whew, okay, that's not our problem anymore. And just for that reason alone, they need to be punished severely.
Yeah. And again, it's not one woman, it's over 60 that we know of.
Yep.
Yeah. 66,
and the number is still and the number is still growing.
Yeah, 66.
And from what folks are telling me, the number is still growing. There are still more that want to file.
Yeah, 66 in a 17-month span that gave him massages. And we know of 26 of them that sued him. The Texans have settled with 30 of them.
Yeah. I mean, you just don't do that overnight.
No.
See, this is all I got to say. All I got to say, quite frankly, and I borrow from a cartoon, it just don't add up. It just doesn't.
No.
It just don't add up. And with all this that's going on, Watson is still staying in the shadows, but yet he's still taking first team snaps. To echo Jay's point from earlier,
forget football. He's living life if it's an everyday normal day.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Well, I mean, heck, it's like what his lawyer said. Look, it isn't illegal to have happy endings. I wanted to smack the crap out of Rusty Hardin when it came out of his mouth. I'm like,
awful.
That is not something you're supposed to say.
That's just awful.
It's stupid as well as awful.
And I understand he's supposedly doing this in different cities, but why do you need more than 60 massage therapists?
Thank you.
Why
Unless
do you
there's
need more than
something
one?
nefarious
Thank
to
you.
it.
Thank you. Why do you need over 60 different massage therapists? Yes.
And most teams have their own anyway.
Yep.
Oh, and when I've introduced this to a modern NFL fan, I got laughed at. I was like,
why did you get
the legal trouble he's in now?
Why did you get laughed at for introducing fact to this situation?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm like, you see, this fool's in legal trouble now from getting outside of the team, having massage therapists with not the massage therapists on the squad.
And there are a lot of people who are in Deshaun Watson's favor right now.
Right.
So they see nothing wrong with it.
Gentlemen, I have 3 letters that no one's going to introduce, but Chris Dietz did, and Cole did, Wise, and myself. And those 3 letters, NDL. Or NDA, I beg your pardon. NDA. What's that stand for? Non-disclosure agreements. What the hell are the Texans
drew that up for Deshaun to use?
Mm-hmm.
If that isn't condemning, I don't know what is.
And Rod, thank you for this point. The NFL only worries about the money. They don't care.
Yes, Rod.
About any groups, to be honest. That's true. Ryan McCarthy, I'd say punish the Browns ownership also, but it's punishment enough to own the Browns. Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, you're right, Ryan.
Ain't that the truth?
I understand this is a totally different issue in terms of punishment, but I understand what Michael Vick did was horrible. Absolutely horrible.
It was.
But this to me is far worse than that.
It is. It is. I mean, because with Vic, he funded it.
Yes.
This dude talking about Deshaun, he was sexually inappropriate directly to many of these women.
Yep. And they're going to let the Texans walk off without a scratch. And they started this whole damn thing.
That infuriates me.
They started this whole damn thing.
Yes. And then if this isn't a bit of collusion, so the prosecutor.
Sorry, what was that word you used again? Let me hear that again.
If all of this isn't, if all of this is not enough collusion, you have the prosecuting attorney who is a neighbor and good friends with the owner of the Texans.
Oh God!
I'm like,
there's collusion. If that ain't collusion, if that ain't collusion, that don't lead to a happy ending. Sorry.
Well, yeah. Also, don't forget that a lot of this happened when the previous owner, the original owner of the team, died. He was sick and died.
Yep.
Robbing there.
Robbing there, absolutely.
And then you got
they just kind of let everything slide.
Yep.
They let all that slide.
Mm-hmm.
They let all that slide.
Gosh, it's ridiculous.
I mean,
it is.
Listen,
it's quite ridiculous.
We all know it. We all love sports. We love every sport. I understand that. But the NFL is far and away the most popular sport in America.
Not even a debate. Right.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Not even a debate.
Not even
And
close.
for the NFL to be concerned with one person makes no sense to me.
How that one person basically
He's not
has dominated the whole
offseason
offseason.
because his name's Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That one person has dominated the whole offseason. I mean, we could talk about, well, there's some other movements and all that, but we've had to go right back to Deshaun Watson at some point in time all this offseason.
And frankly,
listen, everybody talks.
I'm getting a little bit sick of it.
Listen, I understand.
Put the judgment down. Say what you need to say, and let's go. Let's go from there.
And I'll bet you, if you did some digging, this goes back to Clemson.
But
Yes,
you know it does.
Yes,
you know it does, and you know Dabo's.
Listen,
you know that.
Starting on Dabo.
I would say you would know Jay better than the two of us. You know that mouth is shut.
Dabo covered it up.
Of course it is.
I mean,
Listen,
and Jay helps to cover the ACC for the show, and he and I have talked about this. You know, Dabo kept his mouth shut.
Listen, he gets this feeling around the world, around the country, that he's the greatest thing in the world. He's the most wonderful human being. He's a God-fearing person. He's a great family man.
Right.
Come on. You don't get to the point where you're a major college football coach and a team that has been as successful as they have without breaking some rules.
Especially the last 10 years.
And you know darn well that a lot of what is happening in Clemson there, he's swept under the rug.
Mm-hmm.
And they've covered it up. You know they have.
And that's a big old rug.
Ooh, that's a big old broom too.
That's a big old rug with a big broom.
And he talks this big game. You just watch. If Nick Saban retires in the next however many years it is at Alabama, he's going to go run in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can see that.
Oh, it's.
Oh, I can totally see that.
It's totally, the road's totally made for him. He's just waiting, as you said, Jay, for Saban to retire.
Mm-hmm.
He's waiting for Saban to retire, and once he retires, he's gonna Dabo's gonna step away, and it won't even be a year. It won't even be a year.
I'm one of the few people around here, and I live about probably 3.5 hours away from Clemson.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of the few people around here because I see them play quite often. Because I live in the town where Wake Forest is,
right?
And they're in the same division as Wake Forest. And matter of fact, they play up here this year, and I'll see him in, I think it's October. I'll see him when they play up here, and there'll be so many people who think he's the greatest thing this since sliced bread.
Oh yeah. They love Dabo here in Nashville, man. And we don't see him all. We don't see Clemson
and they talk about him up here in the Midwest a lot.
So I can only imagine in North Carolina, South Carolina, how much he's revered there. I can totally imagine that.
Look, I lived in North Carolina for 2 years. When Jay and I first got introduced to each other, Jay showed exasperation when we had Jay, and you remember this conversation, when we had to talk about the Clemson Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
He showed exasperation then, and I'm like, okay, I love this guy. And Jay has been, for lack of a better term, ridiculed for speaking the truth
about a lot of things.
And that's
about
why
the Hornets, about Dabo Swinney. Don't get me started on the Panthers.
Don't forget his favorite college team.
Oh, did you mention Panthers, sir?
Yes, I did.
Well,
yes,
you know, I have.
And there's a certain Homer. I won't mention his name, but Jay knows who he is, and Cole, you know who he is.
Yeah,
because he tried stealing my show for his network and wasn't paying me much for it. There's a certain Homer that thinks his teams can do no wrong.
Well,
and all I got to say to Jay is Hubert Davis.
Oh, Lord.
All I got to say to Jay, and listen, I took a hiatus after I found out said Homer was only paying me $50 per episode or per month.
Oh,
per month.
Per month. He only.
Goodness gracious!
No, you were getting railroaded.
Listen, this is my birthday week, and I'm getting a lot off my chest.
You were getting railroaded, homie.
I got screwed.
Yes, I'm 100% with Jay with the clapping. I'm 100% with him.
I'm getting a lot of. This is my birthday week. I'm turning 50 on Thursday. I'm getting a lot off my chest. And I never told this story to anybody on the air. I told it to Cole and to Jay off the air. I'm going to express myself now. When I found out that I was only getting $50 a month for one of the sponsors I was airing on my show. And remember, Cole, I used to take, and Jay, I used to tape my show in advance.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I used to tape my show in advance. It worked for me physically because I got tired really, really quick. Lord only knew what I thought was, I didn't know what was going on with me at the time. And this was February 21. And I used to tape my show well in advance. When I found out I was only getting $50 a pop a month, and I used to run 4 of his commercials on my program.
Wow.
That doesn't even fill your tank.
No,
not even close. Wow.
February 21, when they were scheduled to allow high school football to play in the spring, I said, the heck with this. And I stopped airing my show that day, that Thursday. I said, the heck with it. And we got to go to a break. I'll tell more after we get back from a break. But Jay Spivey.
Yeah, before we let Jay go and go to the break, you mentioned Panthers, right? So I ran across some footage of a person who visited the Pivot.
Oh no.
And I think you know him very well. The name is Cam Newton.
Oh no.
And in terms of when he was with the Panthers and the Patriots, this is what he had to say.
This is me acknowledging that I understand. I'll own up to jumping up into some fucked up situations. The New England experience was a fucked up situation. I was still learning the offense 7 to 8 weeks into the season. I'm going to the line and I'm still thinking. I'm thinking about the enunciation of the play. I'm thinking about forgetting my motions. I'm thinking about my sight adjust. I'm thinking about certain things. So that's the fucked up situation. Did I know it? Yes. To the degree that I needed to know it in order to show the world that I'm still Cam Newton? No, I didn't. But I put myself in that situation. All right. Now, Carolina, I put myself in another fucked up situation. I was signed on Thursday. I played on Sunday. Yeah. At what point did you think you was going to be successful? That next week I started.
The dude still does not take accountability for himself.
Nope, he sure doesn't, and he never will.
Still doesn't. Explain this to me, and I'll let you go after this, Jay. Explain this to me. How is it possible that you can be on a team for a year? They draft a QB who was not taking an NFL snap, and he learned the playbook and is teaching you the playbook.
That's not good. That's not good.
I just don't get it with him. I don't get it with him. I don't understand.
But there are so many people around here he is their hero, and I do not get it.
I don't either.
And nothing he did, like Cam Newton's not done anything nearly as seriously as Deshaun Watson. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, not even close. Not even close.
But anything he's ever done on the field or off, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I just I don't know what to think of this guy. I want to believe that he will understand it. He will get his head straight and then understand, okay, well, I can play within this framework, and I'm not going to be the guy that I was in 2015.
Cole,
but he still believes he is that.
Cole, he's been coddled his entire life because he can throw a football and run like nobody else has ever done in that position.
Right. He's
not going to learn at this point.
You're right. Be 6'5", 250, can throw. Well, he can't throw it downfield 40, 50 yards now.
He'll be 65 years old and be the same person.
That right there, that statement right there is the problem I have with him. That is the problem I have with him. It's just it frustrates me. Jay, man, as always, man, we appreciate you, and I totally appreciate you, man.
Well, I
Thank
appreciate
you
that.
for
That's
giving the
very nice of
time.
you.
Yeah, thank you for the time. And as he joins us every single Monday, 9:35 Eastern, he gives us the real from the North Carolina perspective and all other parts of the NFL, NBA, even the Major League Baseball perspective, because this man knows his stuff. Jay, it is a pleasure as always, man.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Again, that is Jay Spivey, one whale of a journalist. And now you are inside hour number 3 of Snowman in the Morning.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up?
There they go. 3-2 pitch. Fly ball deep left field. Hooking down the line. Hooking. There she goes. A grand slam. The Blue Jays have done it again. Steve Pearce with a 2-out grand slam to beat Oakland 8-4. Another walk-off home run after Morales did it last night. Home run number 9. His sweetest as a Blue Jay in 2017.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait.
Are you kidding me? Do you believe it?
The legendary Jerry Howarth taking us to hour number 3. And I got one of my homies, Jeremy Green, joining us from Asheville, North Carolina, ESPN Asheville, the Sportsocracy. If you haven't got hooked on the show, I suggest that you do. Good morning, Jeremy.
What is up, fellas?
You doing?
Okay. I'm hooked on your show.
Which I greatly appreciate.
I watch and I listen every day to you and Tank Spencer, two very dear friends of mine. And how did y'all get that started? How did the Sportsocracy start? Because you had a edited version, you had a censored version, and an uncensored version, which ran, I believe, for an hour. You ran it for an hour. I listened to the uncensored version when y'all did that.
So
that was so hilarious to me.
We're working on bringing that back.
Really?
So being on ESPN, obviously, I can't do that on FCC air.
Yep.
But we're working on bringing that back. We're doing a thing that. So you asked how we got started. It was actually totally by accident. I was an NFL draft guy. Tank had the show before me, and then I don't actually know what his former co-host did, but somehow he managed to get fired from a job he did not get paid for.
Ouch.
I've never figured that out, but apparently he did. So I filled in for, I don't know, a couple weeks around the draft. They asked me to become the permanent, and we were actually on a conservative political station when we started. Ooh. We were the most oddly placed. Hey, it's a sports talk show that's placed right in the middle of Hannity.
It's a political station that just goes, yeah, let them do what they need.
We'll let these two fat guys talk about sports. It's totally fine. Then we got fired. We got fired collectively, and they brought us back with a daily show. Somehow we wound up with more inventory after we got fired, which never made any sense to me. But
I love it.
But it works, and now we're 2.5 years in and just added a third hour. But the uncensored thing, we get asked that a lot of when is that coming back? And around football season, there will be more of that.
Because I love the uncensored version. There was a commercial that Jeremy put together when they were talking about, I think the subject was Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. And all I could hear Jeremy say was, he can go fuck bleep. And he comes back to himself, which basically expressed my feelings.
Oh,
so I got no complaints.
I'm a lifelong Jet fan, so if I say anything about Tom Brady that doesn't include expletives, I get banished to Jet Island, where all of our retired players go.
Jeremy Green of ESPN Asheville and the Sportsocracy joining us, the ESPN draft nerd himself. All right. You said you wanted to have a little fun with this Deshaun Watson situation. Knowing everything that's happened, give me your thoughts.
So my question would be, what do you actually know he did wrong? Now, I'm not saying he didn't, because where there's smoke, there tends to be fire.
Yep.
But the way this is supposed to go is that you are innocent until proven guilty.
That's what
no one has proven him guilty of anything. And I heard the comparison to Ray Rice. There was video. We saw the video. There was no saying, hey, I didn't do that.
Right.
We don't have a video here. We have
No.
a lot of people that have not said anything on the record. Now it's been settled, which comes with an NDA, which means they're never going to say anything out loud.
Right.
I'm not saying he didn't do anything.
Mhm.
I think at this point you'd have to have an IQ somewhere between salad dressing and the coffee cup I'm drinking out of to not think he's done something.
Hey, here you go. Here's my coffee cup right here, brother.
I have the biggest one in the building. I think mine was actually intended for beer, but I put coffee in it.
How many ounces does that hold?
32.
You got me beat. This is only 20.
I've been awake since 9:30 last night. I had an event. We had Pauly Shore here in Asheville, and doing stand up, and I am a stand up, so of course seeing Pauly Shore was something that I had to do.
Yes,
and that led to one beer became 17-ish, and so I slept the vast majority of yesterday. But
He said 17-ish.
All I remember is looking at Pauly Shore and asking why he was wearing mom pants. From there, it all gets a little fuzzy.
From there, the wheels fell off the wagon.
He was a great guy, though, in fairness.
Oh, man, that is terrific. Jeremy Green from ESPN Asheville and the Sportsocracy joining me as we get to know Jeremy on this program and about the Sportsocracy. The daily draft gets me.
So that was actually an idea. I am a huge fan of when people give me free material.
Yes.
And the third hour just came about because the programming that we ran was retired. One of the members of that show retired. And so they came to me and asked, what do you want to do? And originally it was, do you want to do 2 extra hours there? I cannot talk for 4 hours a day, but I can do 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so we, as the show is named, it's the Democratic Republic of Sports. Whatever you want to hear, that's what we're going to do. And a listener actually put that out there of, you're a draft guy. Why do you not do a daily draft of just random topics? And it has become so popular.
Yes.
It's one of the most popular segments we do. I have told that guy, he's from like Illinois. I don't even know how he found us, but I have told him, if you ever come to this town, this is Beer City, USA, and you will purchase 0 beers here.
It's one of the, what's been the most popular subject of your daily draft?
So we did one that was 4th of July cookout that was really popular. Somehow I lost that one in spite of the fact I had fireworks. I still don't know how that happened.
How did you lose that?
No idea. Apparently everybody that listens to my show is really big on liquor drinks because I had fireworks and beer. I think the rest of it could have been kale chips and quinoa, and I would still have won.
What did Tank have? What did Tank have?
Let's see. He had burgers, cocktails, chips, and watermelon or something. It was a fruit. I don't remember which fruit it was. And somehow that beat me, and I had fireworks and beer.
You had fireworks and beer, and yet burgers and watermelon beat you.
Apparently, everybody that listens to the show really likes Jack and Cokes and burgers.
I want to borrow the daily draft idea. I want
100%.
I want to repackage it, but I want to borrow the daily draft idea just to have something fun, and I'm working on tweaking. I'm working on tweaking the show. Like I said, you guys have a fabulous show. I totally support it. I want y'all to check it out also because it is on YouTube as well as ESPN Asheville. But there are some ideas that you have that I want to borrow, but I wanted to get the okay first.
Oh, yeah. Anything of mine. I don't steal anything from anybody, but I have had plenty of ideas that I have run into the ground and they didn't work. The draft idea was not my idea, but I will happily take credit for it.
Sweet. I will develop that, and I'll introduce it right around preseason. But what is it like right now? I gotta ask you this, and Chris Dietz with this. Watermelon wins every time, like the ace of spades in Cutthroat. I heard
a lot of that.
Yeah, burgers and watermelon somehow took down fireworks and beer. Took down 2 mainstays. Well, you got 4 mainstays right there. What's it like being not just a Jets fan, but a lifelong Jets fan?
This is my 30th year. I just had Mike Westhoff on my show last week.
Yes.
Great guy. He just put out a book. He's the greatest special teams coordinator of all time. And I don't know if you heard the interview, but the lead up to that, he is everything you heard on the show. And he's one of those that his time with the Jets directly correlated to when it didn't just unadulterated suck to be a Jets fan. So even I think he's 74 years old now.
Yeah.
I would still bring him back because those were good times. In terms of what it's like, I mean, I'll give you a recent example.
Okay.
The most media requests I've gotten in 1 week were last week.
Wow.
So I could talk about my quarterback and which one of his mom's friends he slept with. That's being a Jets fan in a nutshell. That's Jet fandom.
Wow.
I was a 20-year Knicks fan and a 20-year Mets fan too, and I had to tap out. I had to choose one that I was going to allow to continue to hurt me, and I chose the Jets.
You chose the Jets. How about this for an acronym? Just in the season.
Oh, I've heard that plenty of times. JETS, just in this.
Yes. I've heard. See, what the acronym y'all have with the Jets is the same I've heard Cub fans say, completely useless by September.
Yes.
With the Chicago Cubs. I've had so many people ask me when I tell them I'm from Chicago, they would ask me, "Aren't you a Cub fan?" Hell no, I'm not a Cub fan. I'm a South Sider. I'm a White Sox fan. And he said, "Well, how do you deal with that and not be a Cub fan?" Listen, y'all may have 2016, but we beat you to it in 2005.
That's right.
And I was there for game 2 when Scott Podsednik walked the off against Brad Lidge. You want to talk about a person yelling his brains out? I went to the Bears game earlier that day when they beat the Ravens on a muddy turf, and then took a train ride to U.S. Cellular Field to see the White Sox win 7-6. Okay, there's my fandom right there. Of course, my football team is the 49ers, but when you're giving free tickets to a football game from your friend, you take full advantage of it, which is what I did.
You have a fun dichotomy of football fandom too, because you're from a city that tends to really hate me.
Yes.
But you pull for a team that is starting to hate me because I won't just unabashedly say that this Trey Lance thing is going to work.
I won't say it either.
Look, I love the kid. I said when he was drafted, where I ran afoul of Bears fans was I said Justin Fields needed every advantage he could possibly get.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically now throws to 3 restaurant waitstaff busboys, 2 guys that should probably be picking up garbage, and 1 guy that can't stop getting arrested.
And I'm not gonna argue with that. I got Bear fans hating me because I don't like the Bears.
I don't mind the organization. I just don't understand what people see with Justin Fields. I don't understand how you saw anything in year 1 where you go, "Yep, that's a franchise quarterback."
I don't see it with Justin Fields. I certainly don't see it with Trey Lance.
The Trey Lance thing, I think you got to see it on the field first. The thing I said about Trey when he got drafted, and I have been historically pretty accurate on quarterbacks. Don't dig into my history on receivers because that I didn't like Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson. So now I farm that out. You grade the receivers. I'll do everything.
Yes.
But the thing I said with Trey Lance is that you get him with the right coach that can earmark an offense around him the way Greg Roman and John Harbaugh have done with Lamar Jackson. He can be unstoppable because he's built like Cam Newton, got a better arm than he ever had. And the kid's really bright.
Preach.
He's really, really bright. And having him in that Shanahan offense, I think he can be fine. I'm just not ready to coronate it, and I don't think giving Jimmy Garoppolo up in the division is a good idea.
Oh, hell no. Not giving Jimmy Garoppolo up, period, is a bad idea.
Well, I don't think you have to. You can't have him on the sideline because as soon as Trey Lance struggles, there will be calls.
You got to have somebody. You got to have Jimmy G there. And I don't even say you got to have somebody there. You got to have Jimmy Garoppolo there, and Garoppolo needs to start the season. I'm going to get a lot of flack for this. I have no problem
with him being there. But if he's there, he's the starter. You have to say, we're giving Trey another year. if and based on history, when Garoppolo gets hurt, then you can turn it over to Trey Lance.
And only then. And only
maybe
then.
something happens by the deadline where another team needs a quarterback.
Yep.
Just think about it this way. If something were to happen to Derek Carr, now they have no Marcus Mariota behind him. They're counting on Jared Stidham to be the backup. If Derek Carr has a hangnail, Josh McDaniels will trip over himself to give something up in week 7 for Jimmy Garoppolo.
Easy. And I hope the 49ers say no. I hope they say, because Garoppolo is a winner. Injuries or whatever, he's a winner. He's has so won.
Hated. He's so hated, and I don't understand why.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because Garoppolo wins.
I've always said it's because most of our wives think he's cute. I think that, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but I think there is a contingent of football fans that looks at somebody like Jimmy Garoppolo. You get to play the sport we love for a living, and you could be on Maxim's 50 most attractive people list.
Yep.
And it just gives you an innate hate for the guy, even though he didn't do anything.
I'll never understand the hate of Jimmy Garoppolo, nor will I understand, and Cole and I talked about this earlier in the program, the hate of one Stephen Curry. I knew that would make you smile.
I don't hate Steph. He gave me one of the great moments of my life.
I can't. We'll go to break with it. Why do people hate on Steph and the Warriors so much? Why?
Nobody likes a team that wins all the time, and I get it. I do think the NBA has a potential problem coming, and it has to do with that team.
Really?
And I think that hate could get exponentially worse.
In which way?
If Kevin Durant winds up with that team, and let's be as real about this as we can. Please. If he's getting traded, there are no more destinations.
No.
You can't have Bam Adebayo on the same team with Ben Simmons. Right now, you couldn't give Ben Simmons away for 4 bags of day-old garbage.
4 bags of kale within that day-old garbage.
And so you're stuck. And then you start looking at the numbers. There's no way to get him to the Heat. With the DeAndre Ayton deal, which is now unmovable till December 15th, you can't do anything with Phoenix. I've always thought this idea that he's going to go to Toronto is laughable.
Yes.
So you have one destination. He can go to the Warriors. Let's just say they gave up Wiggins, Weissman, and a couple picks. Who's beating that team?
Who's beating that team with the pieces they have now?
And
that's Wiggins and Wiseman. That's Wiggins, that's Wiseman, that's Poole. They don't have to get it. They don't. The way they're constructed right now, and I said this earlier, the way they're constructed right now, this could not only be the first of 2, but 3. With the way Steve Kerr and Bob Myers have put that team together, they could laugh at any trade proposal for Kevin Durant and just say, look, we got the team that we need to rule the NBA. So is there a potential
would you do
problem?
that, though? If they came to you and said, we'll do Wiggins, Weissman, and 2 ones.
Hell no.
I would do it. Literally, he would be on a plane before that sentence got out of your mouth. I'll tell you why. How many players have we seen that were just untouchable young guys? We won't trade them for anything. Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson. We won't trade them for anything. Now you can get Duncan Robinson for 1 unprotected 1.
Right.
James Weissman could be a good player in this league. Is he ever going to win you a ring? When Steph and Clay and Draymond are gone, is he going to be the best player on a championship team?
One of them. I believe in Wiseman.
But can he be the best player?
Yes.
I don't know that I agree with you. I don't know that any big guy can be the best player on a championship team at this point.
Well, in this version of the
Embiid would be the highest of the high side on James Weissman.
Man, don't get me started on Embiid.
I love Joel.
Because Embiid has to compete with James Harden, for God's sakes.
I will say, have you ever noticed that every team James Harden goes to all of a sudden underperforms?
Yep.
Kyrie Irving, same way.
And I'm not surprised.
I've gotten death threats over things I've said about Kyrie Irving and James Harden.
You don't want to see some of the threats I've gotten. What I said.
My Twitter.
There are 3 players that I talk about a lot on this show, very despairingly, and I put facts behind it. You've listened to the show. I put facts behind what I say about Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and LBJ. Do you want to see some of the comments I get?
Oh, I heard something that you said about LeBron earlier. You know, the hate on LeBron's it. I mean, look, I'm not a LeBron guy at all.
Understood.
But some of that hate's a little over the top. He's gotten a couple teams to finals that were, I mean, you could have told me they were Walmart greeters, and I would have, yep.
Mm-hmm.
A team where Larry Hughes and Eric Snow were the 2 and the 3. And Delonte West, who was Zach Wilsoning his mom, apparently.
Yep.
Still my favorite story of all time.
I've said so much about LBJ. I've been told to stop. I've been told to quit. I've been told I don't need to do radio anymore. Last night, I was on a panel with a friend of mine, and a fellow on that panel said he would literally debate me into melted snow when I come on talking about LBJ. So I opened with the following stat. All I had to say was 4-6 in the finals. And I kept saying something I say on this show often, and Cole started it. I said, look, Yo Kang can't win the big one. And he said, he already did win the big one. Yeah, but mine did it 6 times without a loss. I never saw a game 7. Yo Kang saw 2 game 7s, 13 and 16. Never heard from him again.
Yeah, I can sympathize with the. I'm sure you get the melting
got one heck, and 16 got one heck of a stimulus package.
How often do you get that melted snow thing?
Who are you talking to here?
I have one of those too. I mean, you got to assume listen to the way I talk.
Yes,
and then realize that I'm a grown man with a mullet that went to West Virginia.
Yep.
You can assume where the comments tend to go.
Oh, you don't have to tell me twice. I mean, hell, I lived in North Carolina for 2 years. You ain't got to tell me twice where the comments will go, because I get them too.
It's an interesting state for that.
Very, very much so.
State for that.
Oh my gosh. Up against the break, but Jeremy Green, one of my good buddies from ESPN Asheville. Check out the Sportsocracy. You can hear it on ESPN Asheville. Take it everywhere you go, and you can watch it on YouTube. He and Tank Spencer take you through the afternoon from 3 to 6 Eastern Daylight Time. Thank you, brother. I love you. Thanks for coming on today.
Thank you, my friend. We'll talk soon.
We will talk soon. Thank you very much. Jeremy Green joining me from ESPN Asheville. And we're going to take a break. We're going to look at some comments. And then Rod Isaac, very, very dear friend, will join as well. We go to the feedback section after this.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up?
Malone will inbound. Fisher's in the game. Walton, O'Neal, and of course Bryant.
And everyone is paying attention to Kobe Bryant.
They start with Shaq. He gives it to Walton. Here comes Kobe. Less than 5 from way outside. Got it! Oh, man! With 2.1.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait. Are you kidding me? Do you believe it?
The hottest of hot takes and the coldest of cold, hard facts. That's Snowman in the Morning, each and every morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. Hey everybody, Snowman here. You know, daily fantasy sports and daily fantasy sports websites are all the new craze. And if you want to get in on the fun and you're listening to this program, all you have to do is go to monkeyknifefight.com and use the code Snowman. Wait a minute, back up. What's Monkey Knife Fight, you ask? Well, Monkey Knife Fight is the latest in daily fantasy sites that will get you a chance to earn cash, and lots of it. And with Major League Baseball in full swing and football right around the corner, you want to be sure that you get signed up in a hurry and have your chance at a lot of cash. including a piece of $100,000 when you play a daily fantasy game featuring Major League Baseball. That's MonkeyKnifeFight.com. Use the code Snowman and you will get a full match on up to $100 on your initial deposit. When you get all that set up, tell your friends and tell them Snowman sent you.
BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch TV.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Good time here on this Manic Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning. During my birthday week, I will turn 50 on Thursday, and I can't say thank you enough to everyone that has tuned into the show. Let's quickly go through the comment section. Slick Rick joining us. I put the wrong comment up. This is the one I needed to bring up. The Browns were stupid for trading Watson with all the stuff going on. Yep. Chris Dietz, what law? Deshaun didn't break any laws. He broke moral codes, but no laws were broken. Yep. Innocent until proven guilty. The Texans had to settle with those suits to get them all swept under the rug. They're trying to cover their tracks. Yes, they are. AB Media 83 out of Indianapolis, Indiana, joining us on the program on the program this morning. Sig Diggy drops a salute to AB Media 83. Warren Moon got 0 games after he got charged with domestic violence for beating his wife. Yep, it's the same kind of thing. It's the same kind of thing. There's not one account of Deshaun forcing himself on any of these women. He just asked for happy endings. Back to Sick Diggy. The Texans were accomplices and enablers. That's all you need to read right there. I'd say punish the Browns ownership also, but it's punishment enough to own the Browns. Ain't that the truth? I already put this up, and Rod said the same thing. He'll join me here in about 4 minutes. NFL only worries about money. They don't care about any groups or organizations. Chris Dietz says something we have said all along. Again, Deshaun was stupid. That's not a crime. Mike Vick went to federal prison. Totally different scenarios. Yep. Considering how NDAs and non-disclosures are used and open to abuse. Damn, ain't that the truth? So now the NFL personal conduct policy is the law. That's the only thing the NFL can charge Watson with. And that is what I've been saying they're going to use all along. That's what I've been saying they're going to use all along. When the ruling does come down, and I believe, Chris, the ruling is in. They're just trying to find a way to spin it. D. Scott, keeping an eye on us, says, yo, hey, D. Scott, thanks for joining. A. Pizzle has joined us all morning. Salute to D. Scott from Sick Diggy. Ryan McCarthy, I was still learning the offense 7 or 8 weeks into the season, quote unquote, from Cam Newton. Tells me everything I need to know about Cam Newton. Yeah, that's the truth. Still learning the offense 7 or 8 weeks into the season. In my Dennis Green voice, says D. Scott, he is who he says he is. Either Newton stubbornly stuck in his ways or just absolutely childish. How about both? Thank you, D. Scott. How about both? And y'all let him off the hook. I don't. Diggy greets Jeremy Green. D. Scott is laughing. Fifth Down Sports says, read the New York Times article that has the depositions. Send me that link, Deets. Send me that link. I will check it out and give it a read. With Jeremy on 17-ish. One beer became 17-ish. I love that. I absolutely love that. All right, Sick Diggy, one more time. The Warriors are just so good. They're the team everybody loves to hate and hate on. And hate on. Patriots fan Rod, who will be with me in a couple of minutes, from the Rod Uncensored. The Patriots own the Jets for at least 20 years. Can anybody say butt fumble? Diggy poses a question. I wonder if Jeremy Green is familiar with Roy Nelson. Jeremy answers, yes, sir, I am. And Diggy responds, all you need now is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and KO in both hands. You'd be unstoppable. Oh, man. I love when the folks get involved in the chat. Diggy, one more time. Hey, Snowman, can you post up that tweet by Stephen Curry? I'll do it tomorrow. I didn't get a chance to save it. Hate on, haters. Hate on. Absolutely. All right. I know that Sportsocracy responds, haha, Sit Diggy, I actually fought BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Not well, but I crossed it off the bucket list. Appreciate the beard love, by the way. I can't grow a full beard. I can grow a goatee, and that's about as far as it got. Okay. One more break, and then Rod from the Uncensored Rhino Pop from the Rod Uncensored, or Rod Isaac. That's the name I'm looking for. Rod Isaac will join me in 3 minutes. This is Snowman in the Morning. We're back in a flash.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch TV.
Play Eric Amarola's Race Day Mix.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up?
And they give those guys a little extra weight. Roger Craig, still on his feet, still running. What a run by Roger Craig. You'll never see a better one than that. From 46 yards. He has that thing of getting those knees high and keeping the shoulders low. And he makes every team look like they're bad tacklers. Watch the way he gets that high knee action, keeps those feet going like two pistons. Then, at the same time that the knees are going high and keeping going, the shoulder can get low to take on a tackler.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait.
Are you kidding me? Do you believe it?
Roger Craig for the Hall of Fame, please. That taken more each morning at 8 a.m. Eastern.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Hey, let's put a bow on this bad boy. And here is the one and only Rod Isaac with a big old smile on his face because he knows I've been picking at him all morning. But I love this brother. If you hadn't a chance to check out the Rod Uncensored podcast, I suggest that you do. Good morning, Rod.
Good morning, Snowman, man. I just gotta keep on telling you, man. You gotta stop the slander, man. You gotta stop the slander.
What did I say? What did I say?
Oh, this man is 37 years old. Duncan. What was MJ doing? I'm gonna leave that alone, though. I'm gonna stay on topic.
You know what? And you have Michael Jordan's haircut. Who's honoring the GOAT here?
I'm actually, this is what LeBron should have.
Huh?
This is what LeBron should have. The bald head.
You know he's not. You know the hairline's going to keep receding all the way back. You know that. Rod Isaac of the Rod Uncensored podcast joining us here this morning, a podcast that will be on the SDM Sports Podcast Network as well as the SDM Sports Network. Okay, your thoughts on Deshaun Watson?
I feel like the NFL is not going to do anything because you look at the biggest suspensions. You look at Dante Stallworth. He killed him in a vehicle. What did he get? A year for murder, manslaughter?
Yep.
You can even go back farther than that. Michael Irvin got caught with prostitutes.
Yes.
In a Houston hotel full of kilos of cocaine with prostitutes and a man.
Reminder of his days at Miami.
So what did the NFL do with that in that situation?
Not much.
What did the NFL do with Warren Moon, the greatest black quarterback of all time, when he got charged for beating his wife? What did the NFL? How many games he get?
None. You had talked about it in the chat. He got none.
So my point is exactly what do you expect from the NFL? It's about the money. It's always been about the bag.
And it's what we talked about earlier. The NFLPA is the weakest of the labor unions, of the four major sports labor unions. The weakest. And it's going to be proven again.
And if he does get suspension, I will file grievance because nothing happened to Snyder.
No, not a thing happened to Snyder.
What about Jack Del Rio? What happened with him?
What happened with Jack Del Rio? There are so many cases that you could set a precedent about, okay, and compare to, I should say, but nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing's happening. You know, so you just have to wonder how far they'll go. Okay, here's the subject that Ron and I chose to talk about this morning. Players that should already be in the Hall of Fame, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And Rod, would you please tell them the first player that came out your mouth?
The first player is Zach Thomas. I feel like Zach Thomas should definitely be in the Hall of Fame. Fifth round draft pick coming out of Texas Tech. They said he was undersized, but look at all the sacks, all the tackles he got. He's one of the best middle linebackers all time. I think I'll take him over Urlacher any day of the week.
You know what? I'll go with that. But see, my favorite middle linebacker of all time is Mike Singletary.
You can go with that way.
I grew up on Singletary, but I will agree with you about Zach Thomas. The other name that we both agreed on and both had smiles on our faces about, I played a commercial about him. Roger Craig. He's not in the Hall of Fame yet. What's wrong with this picture?
I guess he doesn't. I guess he didn't kiss enough reporters' ass. I'm just being real about it. How do you put somebody like a Terrell Davis in the Hall of Fame? He only had a good couple years.
Those good couple years produced Super Bowl titles. That's what they're looking at. But Roger Craig won 3 of them.
Exactly.
And he was the first player to score 3 touchdowns in a Super Bowl game. Did it in Super Bowl 19.
And you look at the modern day running back, you want a Roger Craig like. You can't just be just a bruiser. You need to have some catching ability nowadays.
I mean, wasn't he the original jackknife running back that could catch the ball out of the backfield? And I've heard so many theories and facts as to why. The biggest one that keeps coming up is that he was in the shadow of Montana and Rice and everybody and everybody else that was on that 49er team, Ronnie Lott being included, Bill Walsh being included. But where I will say it again, where's the love for Roger Craig?
I feel like you need a good running back to get you. Everything starts in the trenches. Them yards, you can't throw it 50 times.
No.
You look at back in the Niners history, they always ran the ball.
At least 30 times. At least 30 times.
Yeah, one of the best fullbacks. That fullback y'all had back in the day was great.
Tom Rathman.
Yeah, Tom Rathman.
Tom Rathman.
You got to look at this, man. And people don't give us enough credit, I feel like, at all, man.
Yeah, I agree. Rod Isaac joining me here this morning. Tweet the show. Who do you think belongs in the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Rod has a few more names here. Who else do you think belongs in the Pro Football Hall of Fame that should be there already? I feel
like Freddie T should be in the Hall of Fame. Fred Taylor. Yeah, Mark Brunell. He had garbage quarterbacks, but one thing stayed consistent: him running that ball.
Mm-hmm.
Look at his careers. He still got at age 30, still got 1,000 yards. Who was doing that?
What do he have? 5,000 yard seasons in Jacksonville?
I know he had a couple. He had 7 years of 11,000 plus yards seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, one year he had 12 TDs. Who's doing that? 12 TDs his rookie year. Everybody was calling him out for being fragile, but he had 12 TDs as a rookie. Here's
a name for you that Sick Diggy put in the chat, Ricky Williams. And we're talking about the one out of Texas.
Yeah, Ricky was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Cost Mike Dick his job, though. That was
he did. Yeah, he did. Way too many picks. Here's a modern running back that people will contend will be in the Hall of Fame. Do you think Adrian Peterson gets in when he finally hangs him up?
I think AD is one of the best. I think AP is one of the best who ever did it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Torrey Holt should be in there. How you don't have?
I agree with Torrey Holt. And this is what I don't understand about receiving tandems. One can get in and the other can't. The example I provide, if the Pittsburgh Steelers fans can rally around John Stallworth, who, of course, was the opposite side of Lynn Swann, and they get him in the Hall of Fame, how come they won't do the same for John Taylor, and how come they won't do the same for Torrey Holt? What's with that?
I don't know. Also, I think what you call is an honorable mention, Andre Johnson.
Andre Johnson. Mm-hmm.
He wasted a lot of his career with a sorry organization called the Texans.
Yes.
It was like my ex-wife was terrible, but that's another story. That's another story.
That's another story and another discussion for another time.
I think DeMarcus Ware should be there. It's another honorable mention.
Mm-hmm.
Your boy Patrick Willis.
Definitely Patrick Willis. It was just injuries that took him from the game.
Rondé Barber, the Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
People forget about how good Rondé was.
Rondé Barber.
He's 40 plus. You get overshadowed with John Lynch. You know what I mean? Simeon Rice.
With that Tampa 2 defense and the members on that defense, Warren Sapp and those guys.
And I have another one. I think Devin Hester should get a nod, man.
I'll agree with that.
Revolutionized kick return and punt returns.
Just what he did in his rookie year alone. And you want to talk about Super Bowl achievements? He's the only player that started the Super Bowl with a kickoff return touchdown.
Rex Grossman was terrible, so I don't know how that team got there, but that's another story.
Devin Hester. The defense and Devin. I'll answer that question. The defense and Devin Hester. I don't know how the hell they got by with Rex Grossman, who only had 3 300-yard games that season. 3.
We can say he's one of the worst Florida quarterbacks of all time.
Yep. Don't get me started with Danny Werfel. Folks in the chat, the Eagles Elite Podcast, Cool McCain joining us. Welcome to you. Here's a name for you. What do you think of this name? Don Beebe. Played many years with the Bills and also the Packers. Do you think he deserves a nod?
They ain't going to put gunners. He was a gunner. Don't special teams like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's been a lot of those. Vince Papale, you want to go back farther up. They don't never get the credit, but I think they should do a special team Hall of Fame. Just separate a branch. Hall of Fame.
I agree with that. But they won't. It's all about offense and numbers.
But
It's all about offensive number. It's all about offense and offensive numbers. Because Ryan McCarthy throws this name in there. Joe Klecko, part of the New York Sack Exchange. 78 career sacks, 81 defensive player year in 81, 4 Pro Bowls, 2-time first team All-Pro, and yet nothing. Nothing. Sad the way this the Hall of Fame vote goes.
Look what they did to T.O.
What did it take? 3 attempts for him to get in?
Oh, because
What did it take? 3 attempts for him to get in?
Yeah, like 3. But we could also obviously say he's way better Art Monk, who's in there. He's way better than I can go a list. James Lofton. You know what I mean? Look at T.O.'s TDs, yards.
Mm-hmm.
Like he got more yards than a lot of people in the Hall of Fame right now.
And he played longer too.
He's still playing at 46 years old.
And with Monk, it's a good comparison. Monk had 3 different quarterbacks throwing to him. Joe Theismann, Doug Williams, and Mark Rippon. But see, even the quarterbacks were not constant. With Art Monk was constant. Same with Darryl Green on that Redskins team that won 3 Super Bowls. So
Jerome always played with a torn Achilles in 05. Go against my Patriots and was eating. Davin Knapp shrinked in that game. He was throwing up.
That he was.
Yes, to be honest, this man was always a professional on the field. You can say when he went off the field about his rants and stuff, but he was a
he was ready, but he always came to play. That's one thing I love. That's one thing I loved about Terrell Owens. That's one thing I loved about Terrell Owens. He always came ready to play. Give me a couple more names as we wrap it up here.
I have also my last on my list. I got Santi Samuels.
Santi Samuel. Okay.
A ball hawk, 50 interceptions, Pro Bowls, 2-time leader in
interceptions.
And I feel like he should be in there. Only thing I hate him for dropping that pick in 07 that could have a perfect season, but the guy was a baller.
And that dropped pick led to a helmet catch. By David Tyree, and we know the rest of that story. I think you were referring to Steve Tasker being a gunner. Don Beebe was a receiver, a part of that K-gun offense. Are you referring? Were you talking about Steve Tasker or Don Beebe?
Beebe did play a little special teams though.
When he started, yes.
Yeah.
Out of Chadron State. When he started, yes. But then Marv Levy got him in that K-gun offense. Levy got him in that K-gun offense. Here's a name, Steve McNair, posthumous. I wish they would have. I would have loved to have heard his speech. I would love to have heard his speech.
And you look at what he was doing at HBC college football. He was 5,000 yards a season. He was just torching them.
I think he had 2 seasons of 5,000 yards.
Country strong.
Mm-hmm.
One year he had more yards than Eddie George.
I want to say McNair had 2 seasons of 5,000 yards. I want to say he had two seasons of 5,000 yards at Alcorn State. And of course, we all know what he went on to do with the Tennessee Titans and lead them to the Super Bowl. We'll have a subject every week. This is Rod Isaac joining me as he does every Monday at the bottom of hour 3. And today we talked who should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Let us know your thoughts and your choices. Tweet the show at official SIT More, and that's the ID you need to follow us on all of our social media. Tell everybody where they can find you, Rod.
I'm on Rod Uncensored Podcast. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Spotify, all platforms. Also, another one real quick. London Fletcher should definitely be.
There you go. I agree. I picked on you about London Fletcher, but I know who London Fletcher is. A hard hitter, great middle linebacker, and can chase you down from behind. How many have we seen him chase down from behind? You know? Yeah, we've seen. How about Bo Jackson? Let's finish with Bo Jackson. Do you think does he deserve a spot?
I'm mad that you look at his baseball career. If he stayed baseball full time, he could have got definitely in the MLB Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
He was a great center fielder, great hitter. He didn't have to play baseball. I mean, he didn't have to play football. He could have been a Hall of Famer in baseball.
Yeah. I just remember him chasing down a fly ball and then climbing up the wall with his feet.
At 260.
That was in Baltimore when that happened. Do y'all think Bo Jackson gets a spot in both Hall of Fames? Tweet the show at official SIT Moore with your response. Ron Isaac, the Ron Uncensored Podcast, joining me as he does every single Monday. We'll have a different subject next week. Got a suggestion? Tweet the show or email the show, and we'll put it on the discussion board. Rod, I love you, brother. Thank you so much for coming on.
Man. Have a good birthday, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Rod Isaac joining us here on the program as we get ready to wrap things up. And we're going to go ahead and get out of here as we are approaching the top of the hour. Let me thank everyone that joined us this morning. Jay Spivey at hour 1, Jeremy, hour 2, I beg your pardon. Jay Spivey, hour 2, Rod Isaac and Jeremy Green joined us in hour number 3. Thank you all so much for coming on to the program. We appreciate you guys. We're going to go ahead and get the heck up out of here. So have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, well, before I get out of here, got the Bandit, Jason Elliott, coming on tomorrow, along with the Con Man, Michael Concesio. And I have a surprise guest. I have a big surprise. I got a big surprise guest coming on at the bottom of hour 3. I will let you know who that is when he appears, but he is booked and he is ready. Hope you all enjoyed the show today and continue to enjoy it. Have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, then they are not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. We are, and we hope y'all are too. Until tomorrow, we're out of here.
Thank you for tuning in to Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, the hottest of hot takes and the coldest of cold, hard facts.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern. We're out of here.